this is the direction sheet and rubric that I put together for our DIG project back in November. So basically this tells the kids what they needed to do, what was included in each of their slides for their presentation that they made, and also what their artifacts requirements were. So the kids had to come up with their own culture from scratch. They could be as creative as they wanted, and then they had to make at least 3 to 6 artifacts that represented their culture, and they had to incorporate the cultural universals that we studied before we did this project. So I showed them all of these things. We went over this together. Then we went through this rubric, and we talked about what are the requirements, and each of these boxes tells you a description of what kind of work would get you however many points. So for each of the reporting categories for scoring their DIG project. As I did this, I also showed them lots of examples. So after we had learned about what cultural universals are, we read Westlandia, we read Motel of Mysteries, I actually shared with them examples of projects so that they could get an idea of what kind of work they would be doing, and this was really, really engaging for them. So I showed them, this is an example of another class's Google Slides presentation on their culture that they created, and the kids were really, really interested in the Woodtopians, and how these students came up with this brand new culture with new inventions, new words, new names for things, and they really had such a great time seeing how creative they could be with this project. So this group did gold banana chips as the money for Woodtopians. So when I showed this to them in class, my kids were buzzing with excitement for this project. So I really showed them Hydrarrius, here's another culture, just examples of what to include. My kids were really interested in weapons, but also what the laws were and what would get you in trouble. So they were really into that. But so I showed them all these different examples of cultures and presentations, and also pictures of artifacts. So there are different pictures, like in that last one there were pictures there, but I also showed them this was an artifact that a group made. Here's some other pictures of other kids doing this project. So I showed them pretty much everything they needed to know, and the feedback that I got from this project was through the roof. The parents loved it, the kids loved it, they were into it every day. They begged me if they could do this, but they really paid close attention to their rubric, and I think that showing them the examples for this project was extremely beneficial.